Franklin Delano Roosevelt.
Please consider subscribing to the channel and giving the video a like if you enjoyed it. Franklin D. Roosevelt. From birth to legacy. Franklin Delano Roosevelt, often referred to as FDR, was born on January 30th, 1882, in Hyde Park, New York. He was the only child of James Roosevelt and Sarah Ann Delano, who provided him with a privileged and sheltered upbringing. Franklin grew up on the family estate, surrounded by wealth and prestige. His early years were marked by private tutors, summer trips to Europe, and an education that emphasized discipline and responsibility. Early education and college years. Franklin attended the prestigious Groton School, a private boarding school in Massachusetts, where he developed a sense of public duty and leadership under the guidance of headmaster Endicott Peabody. After Groton, he enrolled at Harvard University in 1900. At Harvard, Franklin was a middling student academically, but highly active in campus life, serving as editor of the college newspaper, The Crimson. During his time at Harvard, Franklin endured the loss of his father, James Roosevelt, in 1900. Despite this, he maintained a close relationship with his mother, Sarah, who would remain an influential figure throughout his life. After graduating in 1903, he briefly attended Columbia Law School, but left without completing his degree. Instead, he passed the bar exam and began working at a New York law firm. Marriage and early political career. In 1905, Franklin married Eleanor Roosevelt, a distant cousin and the niece of President Theodore Roosevelt. The couple had 6 children, 5 of whom survived into adulthood. Eleanor would become an essential partner in Franklin's political career and an influential public figure in her own right. Roosevelt's political career began in 1910 when he was elected to the New York State Senate as a Democrat, representing a traditionally Republican district. His charm, energy, and progressive ideals quickly made him a rising star in the Democratic Party. In 1913, President Woodrow Wilson appointed him as Assistant Secretary of the Navy, a role he held until 1920. During this time, Roosevelt developed a strong interest in naval affairs, which would later prove crucial during World War II. The 1920 vice presidential campaign and polio diagnosis. In 1920, Franklin was selected as the running mate for Democratic presidential candidate James M. Cox. Although the ticket lost to Warren G. Harding, the campaign introduced Roosevelt to national politics and laid the foundation for his future ambitions. Tragedy struck in 1921 when Franklin contracted polio while vacationing at Campobello Island. The disease left him permanently paralyzed from the waist down. Despite this life-altering setback, Roosevelt refused to abandon his political career. With the support of Eleanor and close advisors, he learned to project an image of strength and determination, using leg braces and a cane to appear as mobile as possible. Governor of New York. In 1928, Roosevelt was elected governor of New York, where he implemented a range of progressive policies to combat the effects of the Great Depression. His innovative programs, such as unemployment relief and public works projects, earned him national recognition. By 1932, he had positioned himself as the Democratic Party's leading candidate for president. The Presidency and the New Deal. In 1932, Franklin D. Roosevelt was elected the 32nd President of the United States, defeating incumbent Herbert Hoover. Taking office during the depths of the Great Depression, Roosevelt launched the New Deal, a series of bold economic and social reforms aimed at providing relief, recovery, and reform. Programs like the Civilian Conservation Corps, CCC, Social Security, and the Works Progress Administration, WPA, reshaped the role of government in American life. Roosevelt's famous fireside chats on the radio helped restore public confidence during this challenging period. His ability to communicate directly with the American people was unprecedented and solidified his reputation as a compassionate and approachable leader. World War II. Leadership. Roosevelt was re-elected 3 times, serving an unprecedented 4 terms in office. During his third term, the United States faced the global crisis of World War II. Following the attack on Pearl Harbor on December 7, 1941, FDR rallied the nation with his stirring declaration that it was a date which will live in infamy. As commander-in-chief, Roosevelt worked closely with Allied leaders like Winston Churchill and Joseph Stalin to defeat the Axis powers. He played a key role in planning the D-Day invasion and shaping the post-war world order. His vision for international cooperation led to the creation of the United Nations, an institution he passionately supported, but did not live to see come to fruition. Challenges and personal struggles. Behind the scenes, Roosevelt faced significant personal challenges, including health issues and a complicated marriage. Despite their partnership in public life, Franklin and Eleanor had a strained relationship, partly due to Franklin's affair with Lucy Mercer. Nevertheless, Eleanor emerged as a vital political force in her own right, championing civil rights and social justice causes. Franklin D. Roosevelt, lesser known. Facts about the iconic leader. Franklin Delano Roosevelt, widely known as FDR, is celebrated as one of the most influential leaders in American history. Serving 4 terms as President of the United States, his leadership defined the Great Depression and the World War II era. Yet, behind his public persona, there are intriguing and lesser-known details about his life and presidency that remain fascinating. Secret struggle with polio. Though it is well known that Roosevelt contracted polio in 1921 at the age of 39, few people realize the extent to which he worked to conceal his paralysis from the public. He used braces, canes, and even carefully choreographed public appearances to appear as mobile as possible. FDR was driven by the belief that showing weakness might undermine his political career. Behind the scenes, he endured years of painful therapy and was a passionate advocate for polio research, founding the March of Dimes campaign. The hidden war room at the White House. During World War II, Roosevelt oversaw critical military operations from a secure, secret location in the White House known as the Map Room. This room, filled with detailed maps and military communications, served as the nerve center for strategic decisions. Only a select few had access to this top-secret area, reflecting the enormous pressure FDR faced as commander-in-chief. Codename Samson. During his presidency, FDR was assigned the Secret Service codename Samson. The name symbolized strength, drawing parallels to the biblical figure. Interestingly, the First Lady, Eleanor Roosevelt, was given the codename ROVER, reflecting her active role and constant travels promoting social reform. An enthusiastic stamp collector. Roosevelt was an avid philatelist, stamp collector, and found great comfort in his collection. He even designed several U.S. postage stamps during his presidency. This hobby served as a mental escape from the immense stress of leading the nation. A forgotten attempt at judicial reform. In 1937, FDR proposed a controversial plan to expand the number of justices on the Supreme Court, often referred to as the court-packing scheme. Frustrated by the court striking down several New Deal policies, Roosevelt sought to appoint additional justices more sympathetic to his vision. The plan faced widespread backlash and ultimately failed, leaving a dent in his otherwise celebrated political legacy. The Secret of Hyde Park. Roosevelt's estate in Hyde Park, New York, held a private retreat known as Top Cottage, where he sought solitude and hosted informal meetings with close allies. It was one of the few places where FDR could relax in a wheelchair without concern for public scrutiny. The first president on television, FDR was the first U.S. president to appear on television. His televised appearance took place at the opening of the 1939 New York World's Fair. This milestone highlighted his ability to adapt to emerging technologies to connect with the American public. An early advocate for the United Nations. Long before the end of World War II, Roosevelt envisioned the creation of a global organization to maintain peace. He was instrumental in laying the groundwork for the United Nations, even coining the term United Nations for the Allied coalition during the war. Tragically, He did not live to see its official establishment in 1945. A complicated personal life. While FDR and Eleanor Roosevelt were a political power couple, their personal lives were complex. Franklin's extramarital affair with Lucy Mercer deeply affected their marriage. Despite this, Eleanor remained a steadfast partner in his public life, carving out her own legacy as a champion for human rights. His final days. On April 12, 1945, Roosevelt passed away at his retreat in Warm Springs, Georgia, known as the Little White House. He was sitting for a portrait when he suffered a massive cerebral hemorrhage. The unfinished painting remains on display, serving as a poignant reminder of the president's sudden and untimely death. Franklin D. Roosevelt's life is a testament to resilience, innovation, and visionary leadership. His ability to navigate unprecedented challenges while maintaining a deep connection with the American people solidifies his place in history.
Thank you for watching. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel for more content. We bring brand new videos every week. See you soon.